Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all having a great day. Today I have my husband David here with me and we are going to share our Tolkien collection with you guys. So David, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first books that we are going to share with you are these big old fat Easton Press Tolkien collection. Let's see what we have here. We have the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and the three Lord of the Rings stories, the trilogy. David, what do you love or like about these books in particular?
Well, I like them because they are a more solid quality copy of The Lord of the Rings. Obviously, the content isn't any different from the other ones, but when I pick up this book, it feels like it's going to last several generations instead of some of the other books that might be of a cheaper quality. The paper is thick, and it's just a good, solid book. I decided to reward myself for a promotion at work, and that's what I got.
What don't you like about these books?
Oh, well, I don't like the garish font on the cover. I like the font on the side binding, but not the.
Cool. Okay, so those are our Easton Press books. The next set of Lord of the Rings books that we're going to show you are the exact same books. So we also have them in paperback. I prefer these because they're easier to read. I feel much safer reading them, like I'm not going to hurt something that's kind of expensive. I mean, expensive for us. And I can put it in my purse and just feel a lot more comfortable. David, what do you like about these books?
Well, this edition of these books is the first edition that I read. I think I was around 4th grade that my dad went to Barnes & Noble and bought the entire set. And I was fascinated by the art on the cover. I wanted to dive into that world and find out what it was all about. And so that's how I was introduced to Tolkien, was through these editions right here.
Now, did your father read the Silmarillion as well?
No. My dad. The only story my dad read from Tolkien was The Hobbit.
Oh, okay.
He had not read any of the others, but he was an avid book collector and appreciated Tolkien and The Hobbit at least, and so he brought those into our home.
Okay. The next set that we're going to show you are a bunch of various books. Some of them take place in Middle-earth and some of them don't. So we'll break that down for you. The first two are The Children of Húrin and Beren and Luthien. We actually just got this one in the mail this week, so pretty excited about that. I ordered it from leftover like birthday money or something. And so The Children of Húrin is a tragedy. This is the longer story of what you'll find in the Silmarillion. I love this story. I love the artwork on it. I feel like the picture just perfectly captures the mystique and myth and tragedy that Tolkien pours into this story. David, is there anything you want to share about this?
No. I mean, it's a good story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is Beren and Luthien. Neither of us have read this yet, although you have read the story in the Silmarillion. Is that correct?
Yes, so in the Silmarillion, both the Children of Húrin and Beren and Luthien, they're summarized in a historical synopsis, I guess, but these editions dive into the story and tell it at a more detailed level.
Okay. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. Will you read this?
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. The next two are sort of a collection of short stories. So this is Tales from the Perilous Realm. David, what can you tell us about this story?
Yeah, so it's a collection of short stories. I think they just took some of his notes and manuscripts and started publishing them. My favorite in the collection is Leaf by Niggle. It's somewhat autobiographical, although in an imaginary form. And Tolkien kind of writes himself into Niggle, who is painting and working on a masterpiece. He spends his entire life working and on that masterpiece, and in building upon it and never feels like it's finished and feels like distractions come in his way. And then at the end, it takes a look at the afterlife, which I find really fascinating to dive into Tolkien's mind and get some of his opinions possibly about what the afterlife might look like.
Okay, cool. In this story, or in this collection, is the story Roverandom, but we also have a little copy of it. David, what can you tell us about Roverandom?
So, Roverandom is a child story. It's about a puppy that goes on adventures. And the adventures are they span quite a variety of environments from the ocean all the way up to the moon. And he meets a couple wizards along the way.
Are they wizards like Gandalf?
No, they're a little more cartoonish.
Okay, so that's Roverandom. The next three are, they're essentially myths. So either myths that he translated or that he is retelling. Let's go with this one first. The legend of, would you say that for me?
I think it's Sigurd and Gudrun.
Okay. What can you tell us about this book?
So that is a translation, I believe, out of the Elder Edda, a collection of Norse mythology. And it's a story about heroes and heroines, and I believe there's a slaying of a dragon in there.
Okay. Is it similar to Beowulf, or?
No. Well, at least the content is different. The style is similar, the words and rhythm of the story.
Okay. Excellent. And you have read this, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. The next one that we have is Tolkien's translation of Beowulf. What can you share about this one?
So this one's a little bit unique for a translation, at least from what I've seen. It's Tolkien chose to translate it in prose instead of poetic form, which I appreciate and just felt a little bit more like a story. And I didn't have to work quite as hard. But I also like it because I think Tolkien focuses more on the imaginary elements of the legend, and instead of a strict scholarly translation that you might find with some of the other authors.
And so you've read this and another translation. Which one do you prefer?
I prefer this one, but I'm just a Tolkien fan, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as he said, this is in prose, so that's Beowulf. The final story that we have to share with you is The Fall of Arthur. David, when did you get this?
I got it around Christmas time, I believe. I haven't read it yet, but I enjoy reading about Arthur, and I've read several different types of Arthurian tales. I'm looking forward to Tolkien's interpretation of it.
This is written in verse, so that could be daunting, just like some of those other translations of Beowulf, but we shall see. Okay, so we have 18 Tolkien books in our house. David, would you say that he's your favorite author?
Well, I like him and Patrick O'Brian,
okay.
and C.S. Lewis for other reasons.
Okay, so why do you prefer Tolkien as opposed to maybe other fantasy writers? We both really enjoy fantasy, but why Tolkien over other modern fantasy writers?
Well, Tolkien was my first introduction to fantasy at a pretty young age, and I've been searching for an author that comes close to him, and I just haven't really found, like I've enjoyed other writers, fantasy writers and other books, but I don't think other writers quite capture his style and depth of writing that Tolkien manages to do, and just the sheer imagination and sense of unity in his stories. Yeah, it just flows naturally together, even though some of the elements are fantastic.
Yep. Okay, is there anything else you want to share about Tolkien or our Tolkien collection?
Well, I appreciate his scholarship and the depth of knowledge that he brings to his writing. He was an Oxford professor, and I think that gives him an advantage over some of the other fantasy authors. His depth of knowledge is woven into the story, and in my opinion, provides a superior quality to his writing.
Okay, awesome. So that's all we have for you guys today. That was our Tolkien collection. Let us know if you have read any of these stories, which ones are your favorite, and is there anything you think we should add to our collection? Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day. Bye.